This conference will now be recorded.
Forgot to hit the record button.
Okay, there's no more public comment. Moving on to non-action items. James?
Mayor, Commissioners, we have appointments for 2 different boards. It's customary that we always have a discussion item, so the commission can consider reappointment of individuals or appointment of new individuals. The positions that we have coming open are, of course, are on our Planning and Zoning Commission. We have 4 members whose terms are expiring. They're set to expire on June 30th. These are 2-year terms. And it's my understanding that all of these individuals do desire to continue to serve. And then on our Parks and Recreation Board, we have a term that expired on May 30th. Of course, we haven't convened due to COVID. However, we will start in the new fiscal year to have our quarterly meetings. But Isaac Luna, his term has expired. That is a 3-year term. I have yet to have the opportunity to speak with Mr. Luna to see if he desires to continue to serve. But we will have, we ask any member of the public who's interested in serving on either one of these boards to either contact their city commissioner, a city commissioner, the mayor, or any city staff, and we'll have that for your consideration and action at the first meeting in July.
James, do we have any data supporting their, if they've been absent or not?
Oh, actually, yeah, we can get that to you. We'll include that in the staff report.
Is there any further discussion by the board? There's no further discussion. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Yes,
James, when is the next scheduled Parks and Recreation Board supposed to take place? Do you remember?
We have not scheduled that meeting yet. Of course, one of the things that we want to try to do is have that coincide with our Veterans Memorial Project meeting.
Okay.
So we'll make sure we give everybody plenty of heads up to where we can actually have that meeting, to where you're not having to attend meeting after meeting. So we'll let everybody know, give everyone plenty of lead time.
Okay, thank you.
Sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. Moving on to action items.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for Ordinance 584, an ordinance of the City of Lovington authorizing the execution of the project participation agreement, providing $15,000 funding to the Lovington Economic Development Corporation for economic assistance for the marketing, retail analysis, strategic planning, retail recruitment, and development.
I'll second that.
Motion was made, seconded by Commissioner Bernard. James?
Mayor, Commissioners, this is to authorize the execution of the project participation agreement for retail recruitment. This is the partnership that Lovington EDC has entered into with the Lee County EDC.
Is there any questions by the board? There's no further questions. Roll call vote, Shannon.
Commissioner Bowles,
Yes.
Mayor Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Campos,
Yes.
Commissioner Dandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Richard.
Yes.
Ordinance passes. We're on to, you'll have another motion.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolutions 2020-039, variance for accessory structure at 1223 West Avenue B.
Second.
Motion was made, seconded by Commissioner Campos. Crystal?
Good evening. We have the owners at 1223 West Avenue P requested a variance for an existing accessory structure in their rear yard. The accessory structure is only 6 foot away from the main structure. Our code says it's supposed to be 10 foot away from the main structure. The requester has asked that he keep it at that distance with the variance of 6 foot. So he doesn't have to remove all the dotted lines in the plan you see up on that's his sprinkler system. So he says the building is placed in the only place where it doesn't affect his sprinkler system. So he's asking them for the variance so he doesn't have to move the shed and redo his sprinkler system. The owner is here. If you have any questions or if you have any further questions?
You like to step up and say anything? Owner of the property.
You think?
You feel free to step up and say anything if you like.
Yeah.
Go to the podium.
Come to the podium and introduce yourself.
The building in question is a steel structure. It was made by S&J over in Sonoma. I don't see how it would be burning in the fire, but when we moved into that house, the builder was interested in the 6-foot distance from the fence line, which we complied with no problem. But he never made mention about 10 feet away from the structure itself. If you can see all those dotted lines there, that's the sprinkler system in that yard. And the only place I could actually put that was actually in between 2 main lines. If I move it to the left or to the right, that building will be on top of a water line. Water line was to break, then there's another issue I have to deal with. And it would affect more than just myself. So I had to be a little bit more considerate there. I didn't know about the 10-foot from the house, and maybe I should have checked on it. But my wife has landscaped beautifully around that yard. She's probably got somewhere right around about 80 roses out there in that area. And she's got a little prayer garden out there as well. So the thing is we can leave this like it is. I would be much appreciated. My wife would be very much appreciated. Do you have any questions for me?
What's the other building?
Sir?
I just looked at Google Maps. Seems like there's another small shed just to the.
This is a more updated picture.
Is that, okay,
Yes.
okay. I'm just asking questions.
Is that it?
Commissioner Campos, do you have any questions?
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Crystal, what's your recommendation? What was your recommendation?
The planning and zoning board requested, they were in agreement with this variance.
Is there any other questions by the board? If there's no further questions, roll call vote, Shannon.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Compost,
Yes.
Commissioner Butcher,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolt,
Yes.
Mayor Trujillo.
Yes. Resolution passes. You have a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to consider resolution 2020-040, variance for front yard setback at 1218 West Taylor.
Seconded. Motion was made, seconded by Commissioner Bernard. Crystal?
Have the owners at 1218 West Taylor. They're requesting a variance for front yard setback. Of 2 feet for an attached garage that they want to construct on the property. The attached garage becomes part of the home, therefore it must meet the main home setback, which the setback for your structure is 25 feet. So when you add an attached garage to that, that means that is supposed to be at 25 feet from the front property. We had stopped him in the midst of construction and got him to get his permits and gave him the option to do a carport that would actually, he could make it a little bit smaller than what he had planned and it would have fit in there within code. But he really would like to have this garage for protection of his vehicles. He's had instances where his vehicles have been broken into, and he's said he just wants it for the protection of his vehicle. So in the area, in this area, his address is actually is on Tyler. By code, his front setback is off Tyler. His front door actually sits off of 13th Street. He is on a corner lot. His home, the existing home, meets all setbacks exactly as they're supposed to be from Tyler and 13th, with Tyler being the front, 13th being the side. With him adding this carport to the Tyler side of this home, that's where he created the issue, and that's where he wants the variance for. So what we come up with is if we, in the variance, state that we're changing his front yard to 13 and letting build the garage, which would then need a variance for a 3-foot setback, because still the main structure would still need to be 5 foot off that property line. It would meet code a little bit better. There's not a site impairment. The garage, from the garage doors to the curb, is 17 foot or better. So we wouldn't have site impairments there. It's not a health or safety issue for the neighborhood. It's just a matter of it doesn't quite meet code with what he wants to do. And he doesn't really have a backyard to move it to the back area. Really, the only place he has to build this structure is in that area. So the owner is here. If you have, his name is David Kemp, if you have any questions for him, or if you have any more questions for me.
You want to say anything? Yes, go ahead.
So, well, Mayor, so I know that looking at this with Crystal, like we said, we presented option 1, which staff is actually endorsing this particular one. I know there was a little bit of confusion, miscommunication during our P&Z meeting. They did not recommend by a vote of 5 for not recommending, 2 to approve the request for the variance. But looking at this, we think that this does meet criteria for a variance. Our code is set up, and we've dealt with issues on a corner lot before, where what determines where the front yard is? Well, it's the depth of the lot. So his front yard setback, of course, is along Tyler per code. The entrance to the house, of course, is along 13th Street. But building this, there's not any safety concerns, considering that you have almost the entire length of a parking spot coming out. It's far enough away from the corner. This is a controlled intersection with a stop sign. There's really no side impairment as far as moving his front yard per zoning. It will not change his address. Addressing is assigned by the postal office as well as the county mapping department. We also are looking at it from, it does not impair safety of that intersection. It does increase, I guess you would say, the safety and security of not only personal property by allowing a garage, but also given the current occupants, they do work odd hours. They're both in the healthcare field. So they come and go at different hours of the night. This would also improve the aesthetics and potentially the values of the homes in the entire neighborhood. We're recommending that we have option 1 approved by the city commission. Now, I know that we did not include an actual ordinance because of specific language that we would like the commission to consider or even institute. Should this be approved tonight, we would actually incorporate that language into the now therefore be it resolved language of the resolution. We are recommending that since this will be a permanent structure, in the event that the Camps do want to sell their home, we would make sure that the variance would be contingent on the fact that the garage could not be converted at any time into living quarters. It can only be utilized as a garage. But that's all I have, Mayor.
David, do you want to say?
Yes, please. My name is David Camp. I'm lifelong resident of Lee County, Lovington, but 50 years ago, joined the Air Force, spent 10 years, 9 years, 9 months, and 28 days, but who's counting? What I wanted to let you guys know, everything was covered by James, but the safety issue of my wife and I both nurses work odd hours, coming and going quite frequently. Had over the years have had instances where Cindy came in late and it's been harassed, not assaulted or anything. We've had multiple car break-ins. I have documentation of State Farm on claims they've paid. Unable to get the police reports because all of those are archived. And they said it would take many, many, many days just individually searching for those. Cindy teaches for the local hospitals, basic life support, ACLS, PALS, and she keeps a lot of equipment in our vehicle, and door locks are just not adequate for protection on those, and a garage would afford us some safety and things like that. Of course, we're having other work done on the home as well besides the garage, roofing, fencing, things like that. So all of that together will definitely add to marketing to the value of the neighborhood. We're not asking for things we don't need. We're just asking for assistance with our continued effort to support the healthcare and educational needs of our community by keeping us and my personal equipment safe. That's all I have. I'd like to thank you for your time in hearing me. Thank you.
Are there any questions by the board? There's no further questions, discussion. Roll call vote, Shannon.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, this is Commissioner Campos. I would like to amend my motion to make that the approval of option 1.
That motion,
And I'll second that.
motion was made second by Commissioner Bernard. You did get that amended, right, Shannon? Okay, roll call vote, Shannon.
Mayor Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Butcher,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolt,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Campos.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2020-41, supporting a public-private economic development Main Street project.
Second that. Motion was made second by Commissioner Bernard. James?
Mayor Commissioners, this is just a biannual agreement that's between New Mexico Main Street City and Lovington Main Street that we signed so they can maintain their accreditation. Guarantees that we will provide them funding. We do exceed the minimum funding amount, which in order for them to remain an affiliate of New Mexico Main Street as well as national accreditation, a minimum of 35,000. We do exceed that, but this is something that we have to approve every other year.
Is there any questions by the board? There's no questions. Roll call vote, Shannon.
Commissioner Campos,
Yes.
Mayor Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolt,
Yes.
Commissioner Butcher,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Do I have a motion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolutions 2020-42, approving a multiple service agreement between the city of Lovington and Lee County in the amount of $300,000.
Second.
Motion was made second by Commissioner Gandy. James?
Mayor and Commissioners, this as well as Resolution 2020-43 are annual agreements that we have with the county. We typically wait until the new fiscal year. However, as part of Lee County's budget process, they want to go ahead and approve this agreement and release the funds to the city prior to the end of this fiscal year. So the $300,000 in this particular resolution is actually money that will be carried over to support the multiple service operations, such as senior citizen services, library, access to firefighting and ambulance services.
Thank you, James. Is there any questions by the board? There's no questions. Roll call vote, Shannon.
Commissioner Butcher,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Compost,
Yes.
Mayor Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe.
Yes.
Resolution passes. You have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2020-043, approving an environmental service agreement between the city of Lovington and Lee County in the amount of $72,000.
Second.
Motion was made, seconded by Commissioner Bernard. James?
Mayor and Commissioners, this is actually for county resident access to the convenience center.
Is there any questions by the board? There's no questions by the board. Roll call vote, Shannon.
Mayor Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Compost,
Yes.
Mayor Butcher, excuse me. Commissioner Butcher,
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2020-044, approving an amendment to an agreement between the city of Lovington and Lee County, authorizing the allocation of $40,000 from Lee County District 1 discretionary funding for downtown improvements.
Motion was made, seconded by Commissioner Bernard.
Mayor and Commissioners, as you recall, we entered into an agreement with Lee County previously in this current fiscal year. This was funding that we were the fiscal agent for Main Street project to make improvements to Fran Ashley Plaza, as well as the downtown wayfinding. They are wanting to go ahead and release the $40,000 prior to the end of the fiscal year instead of waiting for a reimbursement process. This was part of Commissioner Jackson's discretionary fund. So this agreement will allow them to release the funding to us prior to the end of the fiscal year.
Is there any questions by the board? There's no questions. Roll call vote, Shannon.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Compost,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe,
Yes.
Commissioner Butcher,
Yes.
Mayor Trujillo.
Yes. Resolution passes. Do I have another motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2020-045, approving an agreement between the city of Lovington and Lee County for allocation of $50,000 from the Lee County District 2 discretionary funding for the improvements to the historical Lee Theater.
And I'll second that.
Motion was made, seconded by Commissioner Bernard. James?
Mayor and Commissioners, Commissioner and Chair of the County Commission, Rebecca Long, had some remaining discretionary funding that she wanted to allocate towards the Lee Theater. This will also be released to us prior to the end of this current fiscal year for improvements that we see fit.
Thank you, James. Is there any discussion by the board? If there's no discussion, roll call vote, Shannon.
Commissioner Bowe,
Yes.
Commissioner Compost,
Yes.
Commissioner Butcher,
Yes.
Mayor Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Do I have a motion?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2020-047, establishing city commission appointed boards and commissions and observed holidays for July 2020 and 2021. approved in July 2021.
Second.
Motion was made, seconded by Commissioner Compost. James?
Mayor Commissioners, this is just an annual resolution that we adopt that does set the actual dates for city commission meetings as well as several other boards and commissions, as well as our regular holidays.
Is there any discussion about the days and holidays? There is none. Roll call vote, Shannon?
Commissioner Butcher,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolt,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Mayor Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Compost.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to consider accounts payable.
Second.
Motion was made, seconded by Commissioner Gandy. James or Gary, do you feel?
Yes.
Yes, your mayor and commission. I'd like to just go through a couple of items because some things are a little new and unusual. But on the first page, you'll see the Cummings Rocky Mountain expense for $3,011.93. The water department needed a generator related to helping to keep one of the pump houses operating correctly. That's what that's for. And then as you move down, a new name, Fierro and Company, for $5,796. That has to do with the survey that was done for the magistrate court. And then, of course, a little lower than that, the Harmeyer and Electric for the $4,423. Our senior center needed a lot of lights on the exterior of their building. That's the primary expense for that. And then with the Candy Cane water well service, the $15,153, we had two pumps that needed to be replaced in our well field for well number 15 and well number 17. And then, of course, down below that, the Lovington Vet Clinic, that's just pretty much a normal expenditure for spay and neuter and the surgeries. But then on the second page, and we move over to the Pettigrew and Associates for $6,290. It's an expenditure related to quality testing for the North Commercial Street with Pettigrew and Associates. And then, of course, the Solid Waste Authority for the $12,369. We don't have that as a regular expense, but that covers the street sweepings that we take directly to the landfill. And then the Stifel Nicholas and Company for $4,590 is just an annual retention fee for our financial advisors. And I'm available if you have any questions.
Gary, this is Commissioner Campos.
Yes, sir.
Regarding that Stifel Nicholas and Company, how often do we use them? Just out of curiosity.
The primary need that we've had for them is anytime we're negotiating something for debt. Okay, they provide us two services really. One, helping us to ensure that we get the best deals on any debt that we might enter in an agreement with. But then they also provide us protection, some legal protection related to any covenants and things that we've made. So they've been very beneficial with the magistrate court. I don't foresee that we're going to need them to do anything specific for us in the very near future. But there again, I don't know what we might be faced with in the future.
Okay, thank you. Gary, there's also a huge chunk of money being paid out to waste management. Can you tell us about that, the $153,490?
That is a standard, the $153,490 is a normal and average payment we make on a monthly basis. In this case, a payment for their pickup of the residential polycarts.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any more questions by the board? There's no more questions. Roll call vote, Shannon.
Commissioner Compost,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Butcher,
Yes.
Mayor Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe.
Yes.
Accounts payables are approved. Do we have a motion to go into closed session?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to section 10-15-1, NMSA 1978, subsection H-7, pending or threatened litigation, subsection H-8, regarding the purchase, acquisition, or disposition of real property or water rights, potential lease of city property.
Second that.
Motion was made by Commissioner Compost, second by Commissioner Bernard. Roll call vote, Shannon.
Mayor Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Butcher,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe,
Yes.
Commissioner Compost,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy.
Yes.
We are in closed session.
Please enter your access code followed by the pound or hash sign. You entered no digits. Please re-enter your access code followed by the pound or hash sign. You entered no digits. Please re-enter your access code followed by the pound or hash sign. You entered no digits. We aren't receiving your number. This conference will now be recorded.
See that.
He's back on, sir.
Do you have a motion to go back into session?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to return to regular session. And the matters discussed in closed session were limited to only those specified in the motion for closure, and no action was taken.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Gandy, second by Commissioner Bernard. Roll call, Shannon.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe,
Here.
Commissioner Butcher,
Yes.
Mayor Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Compost.
Yes.
We are in regular session. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2020-048, award the lease of a 40 acres of land located approximately 1.68 miles west of Highway 18 on Stiles Road, Lovington, Lee County, New Mexico, to Divine Ventures LLC, contingent upon a mutual agreement, mutually acceptable lease agreement.
Seconded. Motion was made, second by Commissioner Bernard. James,
That's all, sir.
is there any further discussion? There's no further discussion. Roll call vote, Shannon.
Commissioner Butcher,
Yes.
Commissioner Compost,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe,
Yes.
Mayor Trujillo.
Yes. Do I have a final motion?
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Motion was made, second by Commissioner Gandy. There's no, any discussion? No other discussion, yes, sir. There's no other discussion. Shannon, roll call vote.
Commissioner Compost,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe,
Yes.
Mayor Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Butcher.
Yes.
Meeting's adjourned.
That's your comment.